Hey everybody, my name is Rydo, and I will be spotlighting The Binding of Isaac, Wrath of the Lamb, Eternal Edition, version 1.66 right now, in retrospective of The Binding of Isaac Rebirth and its DLC that just came out, The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. And also in retrospective of the fact that this was the first game I ever covered on my channel. This is the game that started it all. Uh, and I just recently bought, well, actually, let me be accurate. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth was the first game I covered on my channel. I have actually never covered The Binding of Isaac Wrath of the Lamb DLC or the original game The Binding of Isaac, and there is some significant differences there. There were major improvements as far as the smoothness and the options and what are available here. See, I've barely played this game at all. I just bought it during the Halloween sale for 66 cents, which is, I'm sure they would have charged me 66 cents and a sixth of a cent, so it would be 666 if they could. But look at the collection here and see that there is a rather small amount of selection. It's actually a big selection for a new game, but compared to what Afterbirth is offering you, it's everything here plus a lot more. The number of secrets are 113. I bet it's a lot higher. I think maybe 150, 180 now. I should have done some research. I haven't killed Mom once. I've died 45 times. I haven't unlocked any of the endings, but there's several new endings in Afterbirth and in Rebirth. In every way, Rebirth was a needed remake, and usually I am not in the favor of remakes, but in this example, it really did need it. It needed to be on its own system instead of a Shockwave Flash game like this is. It needed smoothness, it needed just something they could grow on. Here you can see the number of challenges is only 10. I think they're closer to 20 now, and I haven't done any of them. And then just the options are like, you can't get to 1080p, it's not even an option. We're at 1280 by 720, so I'm recording this upscaled, I suppose. Window size doesn't really do anything. The music is either on or off, and mute is either on or off. No volume controls. Here when you click quote-unquote controls, you can flip the something or go to ASTRI keyboard, and if you want to use a gamepad like me, you just have to use Joy-to-Key, which is its own separate program you have to set up, which is really ridiculous to not have gamepad support in your game. Fortunately, I think Rebirth fixed that. I think it did, at least. Maybe I still was using Joy-to-Key on Rebirth. I think that would be kind of silly, but that would be pretty strange. So I'm just gonna go through one game here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in my channel and how I feel about it. I guess I'll play as Isaac because the only other player I've even unlocked is Cain. Apparently Eve was probably Wrath of the Lamb DLC, and that's why it's unlocked by default. Magdalene's still locked. Samson is still locked. I do plan on playing this. You only have hard mode in this. Hard mode I think is Wrath of the Lamb introduced hard mode. Now in Afterbirth you have a hard mode and you have a greed mode, and there are several more things that you can try to accomplish. So we'll just play as Isaac here. Move the mouse out of the way even though you can't see it. So start off good with the broom. So I covered Rebirth as the first game I ever did, and much like it is now, there's a lot of excitement for the new DLC. So when Rebirth came out, there was a lot of excitement. People on Twitch were playing it non-stop until they unlocked everything. And right now, we are about at the point where they have unlocked everything in the DLC afterward. So they've spoiled the surprise for themselves almost completely already. I haven't been following it too much, but I am excited about it. I would be playing Rebirth right now if I financially could have afforded to purchase it. That's one of the things that has changed a lot about my channel from the beginning. In the beginning, I had very few PC games, and I just planned to grow it, and boy did I grow it. When the Steam Summer Sale came about, I was able to spend about $200, quite a sum, true, but I got over 108 games and DLCs. I shouldn't have done that. I'm very rusty at this game, you can tell, and talking while playing is only going to make it worse. We'll go through at least... Hey, wow. That was super lucky. So when I started, I had basically FTL and The Binding of Isaac and Hearthstone, and Hearthstone's a free game. And that was pretty much all I was playing and all I had. Now, if you click on the link down below and friend me or look at my Steam profile, you can see I have a lot of games and I need a lot more because I'm going through them rather fast. A lot of games too are more story based. This game, I went for 97 episodes, which you can watch that playlist. One playthrough as episodes. If I had started this series now, I probably would have only done a spotlight like I'm doing now for this game, because it takes between 30 minutes to 2 hours to play one playthrough. It's very random, and there's a lot of rogue elements to this game, where rogue like the game Rogue, not rogue like, well, there might be a lot of those elements too. I'm not doing very well at all here. Take that pill for tears down. That didn't help. Rogue-like game where you play over and over again, unlocking things is what I mean to say. I've also gotten pretty much completely away from talking while playing most games. The only game now that I cover on my channel where I talk about what's going on in my life or any random things, and I've gotten very much away from talking about random things. There were some definitely crazy things. That one didn't count. I'm mulliganing. There were some definitely crazy conversations that happened while playing Isaac. I think Isaac opened up the door to a lot of those conversations. Maybe just I was in a slightly different mindset too during that time. But now all of that just happens on Hearthstone. I only talk about the game. I focus on being kind of maybe a little bit more professional, if you want to call it that, or just more focused on the gameplay mechanics, more focused on being a good critic as best as I can be. And one of the things that probably falls under the professionalism is that when I wrapped up the Binding of Isaac Rebirth run, I said this wasn't the end, I'll probably come back. And in a lot of ways, I probably will come back. Hey, free entry into the shop, that's nice. unfortunately, there's nothing I can buy here. Fortunately, now that I know that is a total pill, I can take these other pills and see what they are. There we go, totally worth it. Take me right into the fight. But at my current level of backlog for games that I have to cover, I want to cover other old games. Rebirth now would qualify more as an old game than a new game. I would have to get the DLC Afterbirth to have a valid reason to continue to play. I also need to be realistic with myself and say I'm not an expert level player on Rebirth or Afterbirth, so I'm not going to probably unlock a lot of the new things anyways. I probably will unlock some of them, a good percentage of them. It's not like the DLC is only for the best of the best, but I'm not going to get 100% on them. And it would be a huge time commitment that I just don't have that time anymore. I have other old games to cover. I have every single Tomb Raider game. I have every single Hitman game up to the reboot that I want to cover. I have every single BioShock game. I have every single Borderlands game. Just to name a few things. I definitely have a bunch of independent games, but I want to get even more independent games, or smaller games. Hope that was the right choice. Let's see. So, I also said FTL. I don't know if I really said I was ever coming back to FTL. I was super frustrated with it. That's right on the level of just, I should have quit FTL or made a spotlight out of it instead of just trying to cover roguelike games. So there are some other roguelike games I want to cover. I'm not sure when I'll get around to it. All of that was on my not official Steam account, so now I want to buy those games again when they're on sale and cheap, so that everything's on the same account. I don't want to have multiple people have confusion out there. If you want to see all the games I have and all the games that are on the list of to be covered, I want them to be able to go to the Steam profile and check it out. So having games off of that doesn't help. Unfortunately, The Witcher 3 came free with the purchase of my video card, and because of that, it was on good old games. And Witcher 3 was an interesting game to cover in itself because of it being a rather long game and it taking too long. Now I've learned to research the length of games before I played. Before I would just start playing and said to myself, however long it takes is however long it takes. Now I research it. Now I say, well, if this is a 30-hour game, I will play for an hour and go for 30 episodes. If this is a 60-hour game, I'll play for 2 hours and go for 30 episodes. The point being that I want to try to keep all episodes now down, all series down to a month or close to a month if I can. Now, if it's a 200-hour game like Skyrim, and I really intend to play all of Skyrim, which is another game I do plan on playing, that is going to be probably a 2.5-hour episode type thing, or I'm gonna speed run through the game and very quickly just do the main story and skip a lot of the extras, which might be the appropriate and professional way to do it. That's how a lot of video game reviewers review games, is that they run through the content and have a very strange experience that is not anywhere near what a regular game player might have, and I may have to do that, I may not. I am learning as part of my channel, oops, blow myself up there, to not blow myself up. Yes, that it would be one good thing to learn, but I'm learning as part of my channel to schedule things out and have things recorded before, very early before the time that they should be aired. I'm moving things as far ahead in the future as possible. That way we can always deal with things like content ID, which is a constant problem on YouTube, and just having things scheduled. And often I've figured out that if there is a sequel to a game and I have the original version of that game, I should try to schedule that to try and schedule the series to coincide with the release date of the sequel. That way people can watch the original game and get all the knowledge they want from that. And no, that wasn't worth it. That was not worth it at all. So I've learned a lot. I've learned some of my limitations. I am no artist. I can't do art with anything, and so I'm reluctant. I am in need of somebody who would be willing to make thumbnails for episodes, because almost all my episodes don't have thumbnails. I've had one guy that tries to get it done, but I'm obviously not first priority, and the fact that I usually record an entire series in a couple of days, 3 or 4, and that means I need another thumbnail for another game every 3 or 4 days, it's just not anywhere close to that. So yes, I'm still looking for that, and if at a certain point I would become profitable, as I'm dying here, on this channel, which after almost a year this channel is technically profitable, but not really, because there's a $100 threshold before YouTube will pay you anything, and I've only made maybe $26 in a year, which is a ridiculously low amount of money, but the rate at which it grows is always exponential. So it took me 4 months to get my first dollar, and then I got my second dollar in 2 months, and then I got my fourth dollar in 1 month type stuff. So my line of thinking on that is potentially sometime by the end of next year, 2016, we will be seeing at least $100. Not realistic amount of money. Certainly could go do other things, but they wouldn't be the things I love to do. And I want to try this, and I want to grow subscribers. On the subscriber count, I'm currently at 41 subscribers. I want a lot more, obviously, and I want a lot more views. I still have a lot of series that go out and they seem to get 0 views whatsoever, but I have had at least a couple of successful videos that have gotten thousands of views. So there is some profit there. It's just some videos don't transfer over. A lot of that has to do with where I would need to hire an editor and an artist, and once I was profitable I would plan on doing all of that. That's what I was trying to say. As an editor, a publisher, somebody who would just be focused on doing all the things that I really don't have the time to do if I'm going to cover the number of games I've covered. Speaking of the number of games I've covered, as we're dying here, I have skyrocketed in the number of games. It was originally Hearthstone and FTL and Isaac, and that was it. 3 games every Monday through Friday, I think, was when I was releasing them. Yeah, I think that was it. Didn't have any social media pages, didn't have any of that. I did all of that work too, as a side note. Now I'm at a few more social media pages. I have a custom URL for YouTube, so you can go to YouTube/C/RydoAvall, RYDOOFALL, no spaces, and you get to my channel. I've adjusted the way my channel looks to the best way I feel. I've made an intro that was pretty bad originally, and then I finally spent some real time, and the intro now put some real effort into it, did some audio editing post, not something I could really do much of or any of right now as far as my actual recordings, but I do have the skills and the knowledge of where I know to improve. I've made some major mistakes. I tried to cover a series called Kerbal Space Program, and the game's audio was just a mess, and I get comments still to this day of people telling me the audio is bad, even though there are already plenty of comments on those videos saying it's bad, and I know it's bad too. I already tried to fix it as best as I could inside of YouTube. So again, that's where an editor would fix it, if they can fix it. So yeah, I see great things going on with my channel in 2016, and even starting now. You don't have to wait till 2016, you can start watching things now. We are going to probably go from having a series, which was the concept of basically a AAA game like Isaac Rebirth. When I stop playing that, then all the other games should wrap up around the same time, and that would be a season, like a season on TV, but I was calling them series because there was probably going to be more than 4. Now I'm into like planning for Series 6 to be scheduled. It won't be released until January at least, but it's already planned and scheduled. So Series 6 series are pretty much gonna go a month now, because of just the fact that I'm trying to keep all games to be about a month long. Everything's gonna line up, and it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to play a AAA game, for example Fallout 4, and then at the end of the playlist for that series play another AAA game, for example Witcher 3, that wouldn't make any sense because Witcher 3 came out way before Fallout 4 is out. Fallout 4 isn't even out as of this recording. But my point is, you don't want to put 2 AAA games in a playlist. You want one to be the star, and then the other games to be what was airing. And a lot of the other games I play are of the older variety. A lot of the games I'm playing right now are all old, because it's really expensive to buy a $60 game compared to buy a year-old game that might be on sale for $1 or $2. And that's really where setting up the donations on my support on my YouTube page comes into being helpful, because even a $1 donation really does help. It really does turn around and say, potentially buy me yet another game. I've also had some luck recently in getting free games, which has opened up a very strange aspect of disclosure, which I want to be as professional and responsible about that too. If I purchase a game on sale, there's not really a need to disclose that in my mind, because people do that all the time, and that's a opportunity that is available to everyone equally. But if I get something free, well, that's something that's kind of unique. Even though every game that I've gotten free up to this point hasn't been because I'm a video game reviewer. It has just been there have been contests that give Steam keys, there are websites that will occasionally allow you to trade your email for a free game, the quality of which might be very questionable. But I still need to keep an eye on what the price is normally for games, what I paid for it. That way I can have a better idea of how to rate things. I have played DLCs even pretty recently and said, you know what, this DLC would be fine if it was $5, and then gone and looked at the DLC and saw that it was selling for $20. I was like, well, okay. I forgot to check that and mention it while I was recording. I still have a lot to learn and a lot to do. I am open to suggestions and comments. Again, saying my audio is bad doesn't really help me after the first person says it. Repeating yourself isn't going to do anything other than convince me not to listen to people. But yes, I've had a few people say my voice is bad. Sorry, don't know how to change the voice I was born with. I don't know of any classes, speech classes, that change the way your voice sounds, other than speech therapy, and I was already in that for years and graduated out of it, so sorry. There are definitely some vocal tricks. Look, I can actually beat an Isaac boss while talking. There are some tricks I could do with better audio equipment, which is on the list, but a lot of the computer equipment is rather expensive, and buying 3 to 5 more games seems like a better use of money than purchasing what could be $500 plus of sound equipment right now. Now, once I have so many episodes of something already recorded and I'm a year ahead in planning, there's probably some room to spend on equipment. Speaking of spending on equipment, when I first started this channel, I was playing on a gaming laptop that was really rather underpowered to be playing any games besides the ones I was playing. And quickly I found that with the Talos Principle series, which I need to go back and make good and play that on my new computer, just to show that this game doesn't have to lock up constantly. I ran into a lot of problems with that in several games, and even on the new computer, things like the reboot of Tomb Raider are just programmed rather badly. So on the Ultra settings, while you're sitting here trying to, pick up the tick. That's a great item. Sorry. When you're sitting here trying to play a rather old game, it still locks up in the middle of recording. But I'm learning that too, and that just means some games can't be at max settings. And most games aren't going to be at max settings, because max settings could be for newer games above 1080p and 60 frames per second, and there's no reason for me to try and record anything above that because I can't upload it to YouTube in any realistic amount of time. So yes, I spent over $1,000, well over $1,000 building a new computer for new equipment, and so technically if you run the numbers accounting wise, I spent over $1,000 on equipment, and I have earned, according to YouTube, $26 that they won't pay me until it gets up to $100. So very much in the hole, but I am in a unique situation where I basically am needed to stay in my house to help a disabled family member. So because I'm needed to stay there, it makes sense that I can either do one of two things. I can sit here and do nothing and watch TV and read comic books, which is what I was doing before, or I can play video games and be a YouTube games critic and try to build a career that might be something in a year or two. And it definitely is something. I've posted over 1,000 videos, and I am not stopping anytime soon. I may slow down after a while, and I may be set up in such a way that I have lots of videos scheduled of old games, and then I just can focus solely on new games, which is part of my plan. My plan is through donations and through ad revenue and through YouTube Red, which is a new thing that has been introduced to the thing, to the puzzle. My plan is I'm hopefully going to be able to buy all the new games that come out in late October 2016 and focus on all that Christmas season stuff. Let's see. We'll go here. We'll take this. This. So that is my goal. As far as early October, I have already purchased and planned for a Halloween themed October. If I can figure out a AAA game that has a romantic element to it, let me know in the comment if you know of any AAA game where there's some actual romance instead of just the guy getting the girl that he met in the middle of the game. If that's all I can deal with, I may still do a Valentine's Day month. So around Valentine's Day, just a series of games that are romantically based. As for Thanksgiving, as for Christmas, I can't really think of any actual games that are super related to Thanksgiving, and there are probably Christmas mods and Christmas games out there, but they're usually not of the best quality. So if you have suggestions for what would be Valentine's Day or Christmas themed games, I will definitely consider it for next year, but my intent right now is to hopefully be able to afford all the new games. And then I also at some point plan to catch up with the new games that are coming out right now. For example, Fallout 4, which is a game I couldn't commit the time or the money to. So sorry about not covering that. I have found in running my series through like Witcher 3 that the big AAA games that have a lot of excitement for them often don't get me a lot of views because everybody covers them, and everybody who's interested in those games are actually playing the game instead of watching people on YouTube play the game. So I think we have pretty much covered my channel. It's going great, everything's going great. I need more funding always, and I need more support, I need more subscribers, things like that, but I need more people following me on Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr and Google+. All those services, whether you ever get on those services or not, really doesn't matter. Just need people to follow me. That helps me brag to other people. It helps me gain credibility in the eyes of a lot of other people, other organizations. People laugh in your face if you don't have 1,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that. 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I've seen a lot of people who have more subscribers than I do just because they have their friends subscribe and they don't have any videos even publicly posted, which is somewhat disconcerting. But otherwise, I think the people that did choose to subscribe with me are the people that are going to really stick with me and really support it. So I thank everybody that did that. I'm not looking down on those first 41, because I imagine there will be more. Oops. That was a mistake. So let's talk a little bit about The Binding of Isaac, since that's the game worth spotlighting here. And we're not really doing a great job of spotlighting because I'm just playing it and not really talking about it. You can definitely feel a difference in this game, as just, that was a waste of a key, because I could have come in here for free with the card. But you can definitely feel a difference. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do in the original game that you can do in Rebirth. For example, you can't blow up this guy. If you put a bomb here and try to blow up him, he won't blow up at all. The layout of where secret rooms and super secret rooms is not as tight, or I don't remember the rules, but it doesn't seem like it's as tight as it could be, or it was in Rebirth. There's a lot of stuff you would have to forget if you've played Rebirth to go back and play the original game. I think in a lot of ways you would be best off if you wanted to start Isaac now. There is an argument to playing this first if you wanted to play both. But the better argument, I think, is that you would probably just want to play Rebirth and never touch the original game, because in every fashion it's better. There are less items, there's less room styles, there's less bosses, less enemy types. And all those things would normally be bad things, but it might be good for somebody if you just wanted to try and 100% the original game and get a feel for it first. But I think most people would be better off just starting with Rebirth and Afterbirth even, just installed. The DLC is rather strange in this game, in the sense that it is just always on and fully integrated into your game. You can't toggle it off. You could, I think, maybe uninstall it. That might be true, but I don't think anybody would really ever want to do that. And there is a valid argument to be he said that they did, with Rebirth, effectively sell you the same game twice. But since it's an independent game, I'm willing to give it some slack. And there was a considerable amount of added material in the second thing. But I could easily see some of the AAA publishers and developers saying, why not do this for all games? Why not have a remake a HD version? And with the new consoles coming out, with the new consoles out, not coming out, they've been out for a while, they definitely are going to try to resell some games in Xbox One Definitive Editions. In fact, one game that just got kind of silently announced just today was Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, which just kind of got snuck out there. Here we go. That doesn't work. So I've watched a lot of Afterbirth so far. Well, actually, I haven't really watched that much of people playing Afterbirth. I'm kind of saving it for myself because I'm already hyped about it. But I would definitely like to cover it. I don't know how I would cover it. It's a game like this now for my channel is a game I'd like to play, and there are some games like this. When I spotlighted the clicker games, well, there is a fourth clicker game I haven't even spotlighted now yet because I'm just trying to play it as far as I can first. And I think for Afterbirth I would just play it off screen with no footage and then do a single spotlight after I've had my fill of it, or do a spotlight at the beginning when it's still popular and then play it off screen and then maybe do a second spotlight after I've had my fill of it. Because games like these, there's just not enough time slots in here. And frankly, I don't think I have enough voice for it. I honestly think I could potentially damage my voice talking as long as I used to for Isaac episodes. I need to keep things down usually to 45 minutes to an hour of talking instead of sitting there and going on and on and on. I hope I've improved a little bit, but I'm still very much aware that I say and all of those things quite a lot. I'm probably doing it here. I know I have some vocal tics where I stutter on some words and say the same word over and over again and become rather repetitive about it. Don't have enough synonyms a lot of times. Sometimes I don't speak in proper English and I'll say don't instead of I don't. Things. So let's go back to the menu. I think we've done enough here. But yes, much like my channel, The Binding of Isaac Wrath of Lamb has gone a long way. And if you can get it on sale for 60 cents, 66 cents, totally worth it. If you have to pay $1, I'd say it's totally worth it. If you were paying $5, I'd still say it's probably totally worth it just to support the creator. I don't know if I'd go up to $10. My channel is still very much in flux about whether I say buy, don't buy, avoid, A, B, 7.5, 5 stars out of 5, 10 stars out of 10. I don't think I'm going to really do any of those things, but sometimes I will say, man, this feels like a B, this feels like a C, but that doesn't guarantee I'm going to do it for everything. We picked up a couple more items, I believe, in this run. But that's still definitely in flux, and and probably won't ever be purely settled. I hate the thought of just giving a review letter. And the way I review things is still very strange because of the the final review of a game can only really be made at the end. So the final episode of a series, after I've played it all and thought about it, I need to give my initial response to it then. Yep. So, but I like Isaac, and I will be playing Isaac off screen a little bit, but hopefully not too much so I can get the other recordings that I need to get done. And there is always danger in distracting myself. So, that's it for the spotlight. My new ending goes as such. As always, I ask you to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos, because all of that helps me with YouTube. It tells YouTube my videos are worthwhile watching, that they're good, that they're informative, that there's something there worth people's time. Then I say, if you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. That'll take you to my main YouTube page. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. Click that, make a donation. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. So far, no donations whatsoever. So you still can be the first. If you want to donate $1, if you want to donate $100, I think 100 is the maximum, but there's probably nothing stopping you from multiple donations of $100. If you really wanted to support me, just flood me with money, and then I'll have to play so many games you'll drive me crazy. The other way you can help me is you can click down below under all those social media links where you can friend and follow me on stuff. Is my Steam account. If you can figure out how to donate games to that Steam account as a gift, that is super great. I have no excuse whatsoever to cover games that way. I've figured out how to cover every single game, even if it has music that people want to claim copyright on it. I can we now have the YouTube system to take that music out, or I can do something else with it, so I can at least try, even if I have to review the game without using with editing out those parts. That's possible for me to do now, not something I was able to do when we first started this channel. So there's no reason not to cover a game, unless you just want to give me an adults only game. If you give me a sex game where I can't edit out any of the scenes, you can't put that stuff on YouTube, so then I potentially would be reviewing that game to a black screen or just a still image. But I could still do that if you want me to. There's not really much to review in those type of games, but I could still do it. The other thing you can find on my main YouTube page is, and I lied, this is not usually how my ending goes. I've changed it here for this one. But the other thing you can do from my main YouTube page is the playlist tab. Click on that. See all those playlists I have. I've made one for every game I've covered or am covering right now. Still haven't figured out how to say that. Probably should just say I've made a playlist for all my games, and so you can click on those playlists, you can watch them right in order, see every single episode I did for them, and that will definitely help me out if you watch those. What also helps out with ad revenue is not skipping ads, not having ad blockers. I used to skip ads for people, and because I would watch, like, for example, Captain Sparkle's videos, and you'd get the same Lyft advertisement over and over again. And I would think to myself, well, he's got plenty of money, I can skip it. But I've realized that's actually the wrong attitude for myself, and I think for people who watch my videos. First of all, I don't have that money. I don't have Captain Sparkle's money at all. I've told you through this video, this channel's only made $26 in almost a year as far as ad revenue. So that's not a lie. That's not an under exaggeration or anything. Uh, it's also the bad attitude though, because when you skip an ad, you're still watching the first 3 seconds of that ad and getting the advertisement drilled into your brain. But because you skipped, they don't have to, the ad company doesn't have to pay the YouTuber. So if you want to screw the big guy, if you want to screw the corporation here, sit there and let the ads play. You can turn away, you can walk out the room, just let it play. Don't skip them. And that's what I've started doing too, is I just let them play, because I might as well take some money from that advertiser and give it to the YouTuber. And they know that very much is the case, that they get free advertising every time somebody skips, so they'll put the entire commercial in that first 3 seconds almost, and then the rest of it often is just more of the same. So don't skip ads. If you want to help me, don't install ad blockers. If you don't want to see ads, that's YouTube Red right there. Pay $10 a month and you don't see ads on YouTube, and the money, a lot more money potentially, goes to YouTubers. The way that works is you watch one YouTuber, whatever percentage that isn't YouTube's cut for that $10 then goes to that one YouTuber. If you watch two YouTubers, whatever percentage that isn't YouTube's cut is divided based on the amount of time you watched between those two YouTubers. So if you watch one for 1 minute and the other YouTuber for 100 minutes, well then 99% goes to the guy with 100 minutes and 1% goes to the guy you only watched 1 minute of. So again, very important that now that people watch every second of my videos. You can go back and watch a video again, that is counted, that is double the time, and helps out a lot. So what else? And then yes, down below I have the social media links. So click on those, follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, all those links. Friend me on Steam, friend me on Battle.net. I still need a lot of friends on Battle.net so I can play them on Hearthstone or watch them and spectate them on Hearthstone. And I very well might play people while I'm recording, if that's something you want. Of course, we won't be really chatting in the chat box while we're playing, but you will show up on the video, which is kind of cool. And hopefully I'll say nice things about you while you do show up. I probably would, since you'd be my friend. Also, let me know in the comments if there are other social media sites that would be good for me to be on. I know that there is Reddit, I know that there is Vote. Both of those have self-promotion policies across the board. So other people are fine to copy the links and click the share buttons on my videos and post them to that, and I encourage that to help get the word out. But myself, personally, it's not within the rules, and it would be really unfair of me to try to break the rules and just post every video I possibly have. There is one on Vote that allows you to post your own videos like once a week or once a day. Not really helpful when I release 5 episodes a day of 5 different series. I put out a lot of videos, I know it. There's a lot of old games I want to cover. I have a lot of games, I have a lot of free time, and I'm trying my best to be the best at what I do as fast as possible. So, but if there's like Instagram, stuff like that. I've thought about getting on it. Maybe I should. Let me know in the comments if I should. If something's new that really works as far as my channel, that's great. I'm about to put out a new link for an RSS feed, which I found out you can do with YouTube. So if you want to put it into your iTunes program, your music program, or your RSS reader on Android, uh, which I think is going to start being integrated into Google Music by default. Uh, that's a new way you can certainly be up to date and see when the videos are out. They just give links, however, to the YouTube channel, so you would still need to. It will just click to YouTube in the browser or YouTube apps on Android or iPhone. I kind of need it. It needs to work that way because if you could download the videos, then YouTube wouldn't be able to count it or put the ads on it, and then you wouldn't be helping me. You'd be hurting me. But still, the RSS feed might be helpful to some, and that will be down in the description for this video for the first time, and going forward, hopefully in future videos, probably not immediately future videos since a lot of videos are already scheduled, but several months from now it will start showing up. So, thank you for watching this. This was more about my channel than it was about Isaac. All I can say really about Isaac is it's a great game. You should get Rebirth. You should consider getting this, but if you're gonna pick, get Rebirth, get the Afterbirth DLC from the beginning. It'll just make the game funner, in my opinion. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.